Here is the example of notification and listener in MATLAB. We have two classes defined. One is called a toggle button class. This is a class to generate an event. We have another class called respond to toggle, and this class will respond to the event. Both classes are handle classes. So let's look at the toggle button class first. In this class, there is only one property called state, and it is a logical variable. The initial state is false. Then it defines an event called a toggle state. This class has only one method. It is called onStateChange. And this method will take an input of new state. It will check if the new state and the original state or the current state is the same. If it's not, it will change the state and trigger the event toggle state. Okay, now let's move to the other class, respond to toggle. And for this class, you will see that it has a constructor. This constructor will take an object that it will generate the event. And this is a toggle button object. And we will see how it will be created and how it is linked to this respond to toggle data object later. So in the constructor, it adds the listener to the MATLAB. Basically, it registers a so-called callback function called handle event. This is a static method in this class. Therefore, it does not need the object of this class as an input. What it requires as input is a source object and an optional event data. Here we don't need it, but we need to use this tilde sign in place for that data. So what happens is this function is registered with MATLAB, and it will listen to the object toggle button, and when the toggle state event is triggered, then this function will be called. Once it's called, it will check the source object state, and if its state is true, it means the toggle state is true. Otherwise, it shows it is false. Here, let's see how the two classes work. First, let's create a class called A, which is the data object of toggle button class. And we create this data object with the default property state as false. Next, we're going to create another data object, which is the class respond to toggle. And we need to set up the link to the object A, because that's the object that will generate the event. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to change the state of object A. So what we can do is to call the method called onStateChange. And we're going to change this to true. Because the original state is false, so if we change it to true, meaning the state is toggled, then an event is triggered. Since the event is triggered, then the callback function in object B is called, and then it will check the state which is true. So it will say toggle state is true. So next, if I'm going to trigger the back, false, and you will see that the callback function in object B will be called again, and then since the state is false, so it will say toggle state is false. However, if we continue to make the same function call, nothing will happen because the state was false and the new state is also false, so nothing is changed. So the event is not triggered, so no response from object B. So that's how the event and listener works.